you. President Flanagan, we're on.
Okay, thank you very much. So there's no intro.
I didn't see an intro, but I called Glendale TV and it says we're on the air.
Very good. We're rolling.
Yes, we are.
Got that intro stuff. So greetings. Welcome everybody. This is the Glendale Water and Power Commission meeting. Today is March 7th, 2022. It is a little after 4 o'clock, 4:08 p.m. To help slow the transmission of COVID-19 and protect the health and safety of the community, City Council as well as board and commission meetings will continue to be closed to the public for in-person attendance. The public is encouraged to watch and participate from the safety of their homes to practice social distancing. Meetings are broadcast live on Glendale TV, viewable on Spectrum Cable, Channel 6 and AT&T UVerse, Channel 99. Meetings are also streamed live in high definition on the city's webpage, glendaleca.gov/live, on youtube.com/myglendale, and on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire devices using a free app called ScreenWeave and choosing Glendale TV from the menu. For public comments and questions during the meeting, call 818-937-8100. Public comments on a specific agenda item will be taken when that agenda item is discussed. Roll call, please.
Before I proceed with the roll call, and for the record, Commissioner Peterson will be joining the meeting at a later time. Commissioner Jasmadarian.
Here.
Commissioner Kadikian.
Here.
Commissioner Law.
Present.
President Flanagan.
Here. Next item, please.
Next item, 2, GWP Commission staff comments.
Okay, let's begin with commissioner comments. Commissioner Jasmadarian.
No comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Kadikian.
No comments, but the introduction you presented, the President Flanagan, is good, and I think you should consider a career as an announcer or something, because that was fun.
Oh, you're too kind, Commissioner Kadikian. Way too kind. Commissioner Law.
Thank you, President Flanagan. I understand there's been a lot of activity over the last month or so in relation to the operations and plans for GWP's future. And I'd just like to have a very brief 40,000-foot kind of update on where things stand, because we're in a very different place today than we were a month ago.
And maybe I could, if it's okay with you, Commissioner Law, if I can just add on to what you're saying. It seems as though there's been a couple significant council actions, one on the Sunrun proposed contract and second on Grayson. So I share with you that same sentiment of requesting from staff that high level, that 40,000 foot review.
Mr. President, members of commission, I'd like to give you a quick update on the Grayson repower. On February 15th, 2022, City Council voted to approve the 2022 final environmental impact report and Alternative 7. Just for people to remember what Alternative 7 is, that was separating number 9 unit, demolishing units 1 through 8, including the old boiler, providing environmental remediation for that site, installing the Tesla battery storage system, creating an EPC, engineering, procure, and construction for the 50 megawatts, 200 megawatt hour battery. We also got accepted to install up to 5 Wärtsilä engines. So we would do the engineer, procure, and construct for that part of the alternative. But on March 1st, we went to council again and they amended the previous motion. And it was the same exact motion with the exception of we would be acquiring the necessary air permits and we would procure the emission reduction credits for the 5 Wärtsilä engines. We would also bond all of the project. but we would not purchase the Wärtsilä engines until a later date. So that's where we stand on the Wärtsilä Grayson repower. And we have some action items that we need to work on in order for that to happen. We'll bring back the findings of our ability to find more DER, distributed energy resources, as well as talk to Los Angeles Department of Water and Power to assist us with our reserves. And we plan on coming back to council for final number of Wärtsilä engines, if any, by the end of the year.
Very good. Commissioner Lal, do you have any follow-up question or comment to that?
My understanding was that the AQMD has demanded that the current plant be shut down completely by the end of 2023. Is that correct? December of 2023?
That is correct. They don't tell you that they have to be shut down. What they do is they put restrictions on you to prevent you from being able to use it.
And at what capacity is the current plant functioning now? Is it at 10% capacity, 50% capacity? Does it vary day to day?
Presently, I don't believe we have any units actually running now because the load, the amount of electricity demand for the city is so low. We're in the process of fixing number 4 boiler, and number 9 will go through some overhaul or some maintenance in order to be prepared for the summer months.
When is the peak demand for usage of the plant? When does it typically get the most usage?
It's
approximately. I mean, I'm not looking for exact dates. I'm saying,
so
like,
August seems to be a very hot month. However, we have had extremely hot Mays, and we've had various June and July hot months, but typically the heat of the summer is the end of July into August, and it could actually go all the way out to September or October, but that's usually a heat wave that lasts 4 or 5 days, but not every day of the month.
So the peak use of the current plant is high heat events, late summer, early fall.
That's a good way of putting it.
Okay, so the current plant, which as we know is extremely obsolete, is now going to be operating because of the delay from City Council. It's now going to be operating for an additional 10 months.
So
if we go to December.
The separation of number 9 was going to happen shortly after the summer of this year. We wanted to make sure that we had enough energy for the summer of this year. That was going to also allow for some engineering work on the Wärtsilä side in order for us to be able to coordinate taking down the old units, demolition of the site preparation and construction. And this alternative will extend the outage on the back end by 9 months to a year.
So wait, let me just make sure I understood this. So we're extending the period of time that we need to search for alternative energy sources by 9 months to a year?
We will know by December if we are going to get 5 Wärtsilä engines or anything up to 5 Wärtsilä engines by the end of December.
Okay. All right. Well, I will just point out that when Commissioner Kadikian and I were on this commission 4 years ago, I think it was roughly the 1st of April of 2018, we made an impassioned plea at that point for GWP to bring back a lower carbon alternative to what had been proposed. and much work and time and treasure and, staff energy and, the time and attention of staff members who are no longer with us went into an exhaustive process to identify alternative sources of energy and an alternative scenario under which Grayson could be repowered. At the time, 4 years ago, we pleaded that this process not take 2 to 3 years, and that feels awfully naive now because we are looking at a 4 to 5 year process. So I'm just concerned about the amount of time that a highly polluting plant, which is within the boundaries of our city, is continuing to burn and we're continuing to rely on a highly polluting plant. When the united goal of everyone was to repower with cleaner alternatives and move the city forward. So I'm concerned about this, and that's not on you. That's just, I just want that, I want to say it. I'm concerned. This is a long time.
As a follow-up question, Commissioner Lal, or I guess this should be Mr. Young. Is it true that the Grayson plant will be shut down regardless, or will be required to not operate for various reasons starting in 2024? But that at that point, we'll be looking for other options to fulfill the gap before we have the sufficient generation, or before any generation at Grayson would be built. Is that right?
President Flanagan, that is correct. But we have to make sure that we have positive direction from City Council in order for us to be able to ask neighbors to assist us during that time of transition.
Well, but we will be having some of those discussions between now and December. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But I think Commissioner Lal, you and I share the same concerns, and perhaps the whole commission does, that we're at risk going forward. We'll have to work hard.
My understanding is that we had an agreement with LADWP to cover us during this construction period, correct? And it expired because of the amount of time that we've spent getting to this point. Is that right?
That's correct. About 1,430 days ago, when we had our 90-day timeout,
right,
they realized that we weren't serious, so they rescinded that offer. So I've been unofficially told that once we have clear direction by council, then we could talk to our counterparties and our neighbors to see if they can assist us.
So are we waiting until December of 2022 before we have that clear direction?
I've been informed that I'm to talk to Los Angeles Department of Water and Power and their council members to see if Los Angeles was in a position to help us so that we don't have to have the Wärtsilä engines, or that we can reduce the thermal component of the repower.
Is it possible to get an update around August as to how that is going? And if it's not going anywhere, maybe the commission could do some sort of a recommendation to City Council to reassess their position at that point?
I would be happy to give you an update in August to help us with the situation. I'm getting very nervous that we're running out of time.
And Commissioner Kadikian, Mr. President and Commissioners, I appreciate that. I think if we wanted to have a further discussion of this, we should agendize it, since we're just under staff comments right now. But it's definitely, obviously, a very important issue. So we'd be happy to bring it back whenever this commission wants to hear more about it.
Can we just put that on the agenda forecast at the end of this meeting then?
Certainly.
I'll do that. That sounds like a good action step. Thank you for reeling us in at this time. Has Commissioner Peterson joined us yet? Hearing not. Mr. Young, are there staff comments? And if you would, could you give a very high level of view of what's happened with the Sunrun contract? Because I know this came back to council a few weeks ago.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The Sunrun virtual power plant is a different beast than what we're used to seeing. We're used to looking at long-term utility scale transactions that have megawatt pricing between $30 and $70 or $80. This project is a very different project. So because it's in the distributed energy source, and what I mean by that is we're putting a lot of solar panels on people's houses, or we're putting very few solar panels on each house in order for us to get a lot of solar panels. That's labor intensive and it costs a lot of money. We brought that to council with the cost of service study, and we've been directed to go back and negotiate further and to potentially reduce the size or reduce the duration of that project.
Thank you. Are there other staff comments at this time, Mr. Young?
I don't have any. I've been thoroughly engrossed in the Sunrun and the Grayson Repower for the last few months. So
I can imagine. I hope you can take some deep breaths.
Could I just ask one more question? Since I've been on the commission, I think these contracts for power purchase agreements or other contracts like this don't come before the commission. Is that something that we could explore doing in order that the commission could weigh in on projects like this?
Absolutely. So the rule for this commission is that typically it would be any one commissioner requests something on an agenda and the second commissioner just seconds that and it's good to go. So certainly for projects like the Sunrun project, I think that's more than appropriate to bring back to this commission for your weighing in before it goes to council. We can do that.
Just for the record, I did ask for that several times, just to have a briefing on Sunrun. It never happened, so until the council briefing. But so I support Commissioner Lawl's suggestion. Are there any other commissioner staff comments, or should we move to the next item? Hearing none, why don't we do that? Why don't we flip the order? Can we please go now to reports, and we'll come back to the GWP Commission elections. Is that okay?
Okay, so the next item will be 4, reports information. 4A, customer service update.
So President Flanagan, I'm going to introduce Daryl Allen, Customer Service Operations Manager, to provide you with a PowerPoint presentation for this item.
Very good.
1 second, please. Okay, I am Daryl Allen, Customer Service Operations Manager. I'll be addressing 3 areas today as follows: continued assistance being provided to customers, secondly, fiscal impact, and lastly, customer service performance measures. So we continue to work with our customers as they adjust to the impact of the pandemic. Most of these actions have been in place from the onset to present. We have suspended late fees and service disconnections. We have been accommodating and flexible with payment arrangement requests to amortize arrearages. This process is quite convenient for customers as they have the ability to submit their requests online. And we will soon be adding this option to our telephone system. Normally, closed accounts with unpaid balances after 90 days are sent to collections, and we've halted this process temporarily. Staff continues to enlighten customers of all available assistance programs to help them financially with their unpaid bills. These assistance programs are reflected on the next slide. So the left side of the slide shows the external assistance programs and the right side shows the internal programs. I've also included the various websites and telephone numbers if customers are watching and would like to reach out and apply for any financial assistance. LIHEAP, which is the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, is federally funded. This program has been in place. However, an additional $49 million was allocated for California residents to give those who would normally qualify an opportunity for financial assistance to pay their utility bills. The California COVID-19 Rent Relief Program is new. It was designed to provide reimbursement to landlords for unpaid rent. However, it also assists with unpaid utility bills between April 1st, 2020 through March 31st, 2021. In this case, either the landlord or tenant can apply through the state's online portal, and the program will remain open until all the funds have been depleted. Catholic Charities will also assist with utility bills. The Salvation Army provides up to $50 per household for utility bill assistance. Now on the right side of the slide, we have Glendale Care, which is for electric customers who are low income. This program provides a $15 monthly discount on utility bills. Next is the utility users tax exemption, which waives the 7% tax for both water and electric customers who meet the age and eligibility, income eligibility, I'm sorry. Helping Hand provides a one-time bill assistance of up to $150 for customers who are experiencing an emergency. These additional programs are federally funded and provide financial assistance to customers who were impacted by the pandemic and have fallen behind paying their electric and water bills that were issued between March 4th, 2020 and June 15, 2021. There are individual programs for electric customers and water customers. These customers didn't have to apply for either of the programs. Once they had unpaid balances within the stipulated period, their accounts were automatically selected for consideration. The California Arrearage Payment Program, or CAP, is geared towards electric customers, and we were granted a total of $5.2 million to apply towards arrearages. For water customers, there's a California Water and Wastewater Arrearage Payment Program, or CWAP, and we were granted a little over $920,000 to apply towards arrearages. So for both of these programs, CAP and CWAP, commercial customers that qualify for credits over $600 require a completed W-9 form, as the amounts may be taxable after the fact. Credit amounts will be applied to accounts as we receive the W-9 forms back from customers. And so we have started to apply credits to accounts. Thus far, a total of $3.8 million was credited to over 5,800 electric accounts from CAP funds. An additional $1.2 million is ready to be credited to commercial accounts as we receive the completed W-9 forms. In regards to water accounts, a total of $676,900 was already credited to 1,050 customers. And like electric, an additional $80,700 plus dollars is ready to be credited to commercial accounts upon receipt of the W-9 forms. So this slide and the following slide shows our aging receivables, starting with electric. an average of 66% of the revenue has been received within 30 days. And before the pandemic, the receivables were pretty much within the 90 percentile range. Of the remaining 34%, a larger chunk of the revenue was received within the over 91 days timeframe. With the cap credits that were recently applied to qualifying electric accounts, we should see more appealing receivables in the months to come. Additionally, the CAP program may extend the cutoff qualification date from June 2021 to December 2021, and this would allow an additional 5 months of arrearages to be covered for financial assistance. Receivables for water is a bit better, with an average of 72% of the revenue received within 30 days, and much of the remaining 28% was received within the over 91 days frame. We are applying to as many programs as we possibly can, the latest being the Low Income Household Water Assistance Program, or LIWAP as its acronym. This program will pay a one-time credit up to $2,000 on qualifying customers' water or wastewater bill. The website for customers to obtain all the specifics will be provided when the program launches, which is scheduled for May, and that's just a few months away. So we have done really well in the second quarter with our customer service matrix. The average talk time has decreased, so did the average queue time, which is the length of time customers have waited before a rep answered their call. We have abandoned less calls, and our service level was pretty good. We have also addressed 99% of customer contacts via the web within 48 hours of receipt. I must say the 4 new reps that joined our staff last year have contributed to this positive outcome. Now, in regards to the write-off to revenue, that's not so good. The percentage hike was more so from commercial accounts, of which one account in particular had a write-off amount of about $250,000. However, we are recuperating from the CAP and CWAP credits that were recently applied to qualified accounts. And this account in particular is eligible to receive a credit, providing they fill out the W-9 form and return it to us. We should see a significant decline in the coming months. So this concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have commissioner questions or comments? Commissioner Jasmine?
No questions. Thank you. Good presentation.
Commissioner Kadikian?
No questions. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Commissioner Law?
Thank you, President Flanagan. And thank you for this presentation. Are you finding, so when customers apply for the utility relief, is that being paid directly to you, to GWP?
Are you referring to the CAP and the CWAP?
Yes.
Yes. The check was sent to us, and we have been crediting the qualifying accounts with the allotted amount that they're entitled to. So we got the check, and we credited the accounts accordingly.
Turnaround time from the time that the application is made until you're paid?
I know the credits were, we are within the time frame to credit the accounts. Those accounts were credited on the 28th of February. So from the time we receive the funds, there's a specific time frame to credit those accounts, and we're well within that time frame. So we did the credits a couple of weeks ago, February 28th.
Oh, so everyone received their credits all at once?
The residential accounts and the commercial accounts less than $600. So those commercial accounts that are due for a credit over $600, they need to complete the W-9 form and send it back to us. Upon receipt of that form, we will credit those accounts accordingly.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Peterson, any questions or comments on this regarding this presentation?
No questions, and thank you for the presentation. Excellent.
Thank you.
I just had a thank you, Daryl, for the presentation, and it sounds like the customer service is going very well. So the metrics are impressive. So 3 cheers to you and the team.
Thank you.
I saw Pace LA listed sort of next to LIHEAP. Is that sort of a supplemental financing source for customers that do own their properties? Is that why it's there, or why was it there?
I'm sorry, which slide are we referring to?
Where you showed the different funding sources that were available, and you had the external on the left,
Oh, the
and
external and the, let's see here.
internal on the right, and there was right under Pace, sort of indented was, I mean, right under LIHEAP was Pace, which I'm a big fan of Pace. I didn't see that. I didn't understand the connection there. And if there is no connection, you can just say there's no connection.
I don't think there's any connection. Oh, pacela.org, that's the website that customers would need to access if they would like to apply for LIHEAP.
Okay, well then
That's the website, I'm sorry.
Perfect, then there's a significant connection. That's great.
I think my typing is kind of poor. It's indented and it shouldn't be. So you probably got a little confused by that. I'm sorry for that.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, thank you very much for this presentation. And shall we go to oral communications and then circle back to our action item? Is that okay? Christine? Yes. Let's go to oral communications. Our next item, please.
Next item is 5, oral communications. Discussion is limited to items not part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Commission may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. The general manager may refer the matter to the appropriate staff for investigation and report. And at this moment, we don't have no callers.
Okay, very good. So now let's go to our number 3 item, please.
Next item, 3 actions. 3A, GWP Commission election for president and secretary.
Very good. Do we have any commissioner comments? Commissioner Jasmine.
No comments.
Sadikian?
Just wondering, maybe Ms. Godinez could remind us the history of who was president. I guess Mr. Flanagan is the current president, the prior president, and the prior presidents.
Oh my, I'm going to have to look that up to refresh my memory on that.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
That's okay. Let me see what I can find out about that.
Okay, we can circle back to this.
Flanagan, Sadikian, was it Lull before that?
Don't think so. I haven't been president since 2018.
But we have 3 of the 5 commissioners have been president. I would like to nominate Commissioner Peterson to take the leadership position here.
I would second that.
Any other comment? Shall we have a vote?
I was going to nominate Commissioner Jasmine for consideration because I believe she's been longer on the commission. Not that Commissioner Peterson can't do the job. He's perfectly capable.
You're absolutely right. I actually queried Commissioner Jasmine, and she indicated that this would not be a good time for her to take that role. Is that correct?
That's right. Thank you. But this isn't the right time for me. Thank you.
Okay.
So
okay.
do we have a nomination? We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. I think we have a new president. I am off to Mar-a-Lago now. You can come visit.
Do you want to carry through former President Flanagan with the nomination? Since you started, you could do the secretarial nominations. Shall we do it that way? We'll pass the baton.
That would be great. Who is the current secretary?
I think it's, Commissioner Jasmine.
Commissioner, would you like to nominate somebody to take your spot?
I haven't asked anyone, but let's see if Commissioner Kadikian would be interested in coming back to that spot.
Sure, I think Commissioner Jasmine-Darian's trying to get back at me, but that's okay. Yes, I'll accept if there's a second nomination.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Very good. I think that concludes our elections, right?
Yes.
Next, President Peterson, will you take over, please, facilitating the meeting? Or would you rather I did?
Why don't we have you finish off on a high note and take it out of the inning here.
All right. Well, we have the next item, please.
The next item is 6, agenda forecast.
Okay. Well, we had I thought, the very good suggestion that staff return in August to give an update on the pursuit of additional resources to fill the gap in the Grayson project. Can we put that on the August agenda? Grayson project staff update.
I second that.
Okay. Are there other agenda items?
I would like to suggest an agenda item for the May with the budget presentation, and hopefully I can find somebody who would second. And what I would like to see, if we can have some sort of a breakdown of the income or the household income in Glendale from our Glendale utility users. The purpose of that would be we are going to come at a point where substantial cost is going to come in as we upgrade Grayson, and depending on how much more demand response we want to get and what have you, those are all going to be substantial cost factor. And I'd like us to keep our eye on the household income of Glendale and the breakdown of how many household we have within the 0 to 20,000 annual income and how many we have between 20 to 50 and what have you, just so that we understand who's going to bear the cost of substantial increases, if there are going to be any. That's my suggestion for a report of some sort on that regards.
And second that.
Certainly second that. Yep. Are there other agenda items at this time that we would like to bring forward?
Former President Flanagan, I just want to clarify that, part of what I'm really looking for in the questions that I was asking earlier is what is the effect of, if any, of the delays to figuring out what's going to happen at Grayson. So it's not so much like what are we going to do there, but what is the effect of the amount of time that it's taking to determine what is going to happen there, and what are the knock-on effects of this time frame. And then I also want to understand, what are the knock-on effects of what we're doing in the meantime, whether it's continuing to use the existing gas-fired plant, or whether it's having to purchase, negotiate with an outside party to purchase power to come in through the power lines, whatever it is. I'd like to know a little more in detail what the utility is going through in relation to this project. That's my question.
So President Peterson, ex-President Flanagan, members of commission. The biggest concern that I have in the delay is that Diablo Canyon is going to close down, and that's our last nuclear power plant in the state. And that produces 2,200 megawatt hours, or 2,200 megawatts, and produces 10% of the state's load. So as that unit gets shut down, there's going to be more and more demand on any available capacity or generation. So I'm very, very nervous in 3 years, because it gets harder every summer. It gets harder. And if we move from 3 years to 3 summers to 4 summers, it's going to be extremely difficult for us to be able to meet our load in that 4th summer. What are we doing in order for us to be able to procure energy? We typically, since our units are so inefficient, unreliable, we purchase most of our power. I would say 85% of our power is being purchased on our transmission lines. So most of the time, we purchase that energy and we fill up the transmission capacity, and we only use our generation as a last resort. So we will be doing that again this summer. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, that's the conversation that I was looking to agendize.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. I know I was sort of searching for my words there. But yeah, that's exactly the conversation that I would like to have agendized is what are we doing? If this project isn't being built and years and we've gone through half a decade now, what are we doing?
I would second that, because I think that's a very salient point that we need to be able to communicate to people who are asking, because that really comes down to, it's not just a matter of what are the options, but what's the cost of weighing those options longer and longer.
So when I joined this commission in 2016-ish, Steve Zern and I had a conversation about how important it was that we repower Grayson. It was really weighing on his mind. That was 6 years ago. So, time. My question is time.
So you want to agendize the consequences and costs of the 9-month pause or delay, whatever we want to call it, the delayed council action on the repowering, or on the Ward-Scylla units in particular. Is that right? And
well, yeah, in addition to the 4 years plus that we've already been through. I mean, I would like to know what is the impact on the utility of the delays to resolving this project. Whether the delay is this particular 9-month delay, I don't know if they can, do the math on that. If there's a dollar amount, but what is the impact on the utility of the delays to this project? That's my question.
Okay.
What I'm hearing is a pretty broad addressable that you're saying. First, historically, we can look at if we had been able to move forward under the original timeline that had been proposed, say, 6 years ago.
Right.
It hadn't. What is the cost of that? And then what then is the projected ongoing cost as we continue to, if each year we don't have it, are we able to project it on an incremental basis so that we can say, this is what it has already cost us, and this is what we're projecting that will continue to cost us? And then are there ramifications such as, are there major performance cliffs that we might be heading towards, physical limitations of the system, so we can truly understand what the choices really are.
Are there emissions effects? Because we have to rely on this old plant, the plant that we were begging to close down in 2018.
Financial and environmental costs.
Right.
Sorry, what month would you like to see this come back to council? I mean, to our commission?
I would look to GWP staff, understanding that they are, this is work that they would have to do. So I would just look to them and ask them what would be a reasonable time frame for them. I don't have a specific date certain by which I need it. I would look to them and ask, how long would it take and when could you bring it back?
How about June?
Sounds good.
June seems right, because that's when we would have our update on the discussions with LADWP and looking for other resources. So we would have quite a bit of information coming out of that meeting, the June meeting.
Catalina, what would the date of that meeting be?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What would the date of that meeting be?
It will be June 6th.
Okay. I can be here.
You better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other, that was a good one. Any other agenda items that we want to put onto the forecast here? Hearing none, let's go to the next item.
The next item is 7, adjournment.
And before we adjourn, let me just say thank you to all of you, my fellow commissioners and the staff. It's really been an honor to be the president. And when I think about the year that we've just been through, we've obviously COVID. We've been dealing with Shoal Canyon. We've been dealing with Grayson. Our commission has been, I think, dealing with extremely substantive issues, and I've really appreciated working with the commission and the staff this past year, and look forward to years to come. So with that, do we have a motion?
President Flanagan, before you make your motion,
Yes,
I would also like to thank the commission and you specifically for making the commission a commission that was informative, helped us with solve problems, and we were able to work with, as opposed to having an adversarial type of method. I'm looking forward to President Peterson doing the same and getting good work done for the city. Thank you.
Thanks for saying that. Commissioner Lal?
Yeah, I just wanted to weigh in and say thank you very much. You are incredibly knowledgeable about power, and especially with the green revolution and the clean energy revolution. You really understand the details of it. So I appreciate your leadership, especially during this time. And just a quick question for staff: when will we all be back in person?
I'm not sure.
I was just going to say that that's something that's being evaluated right now, the transition plan to get us back into being in person. I don't know if it's going to be next month, but I would imagine soon. I know that folks are looking at that right now that masking orders and such are being scaled back to when we can get back to a little bit more normal.
Is remote still going to be option just in case we're out of the country or something?
I would hope so. Again, they're looking at a transition plan, and there are a lot of good things that have come out of this. So hopefully that's one of the things that we can continue to offer.
Okay.
Very good. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right. Thanks, everybody.